I'm not sharing my screen, I think. So it's very similar to this network of resources. I'll share my screen. So ESA has this network of resources, which gives you can give your project additional sponsoring or additional sponsoring. And by browsing on this website, but if you go to the Apex website, it gives you the right links and a more streamlined way of finding where you need to be. But what you can do with this ESA no request is you can request additional sponsorship or additional resources. Then we can take a look at the portal of what we can all request. And for some reason, ESA's website isn't that safe. So we can take a look at everything which is being offered in the portfolio. Yes, a lot of clicking. So here we go. So to give a brief example, you can really ask a lot. We have different partners here in this SNOR request. You have TerraDue. I don't know if you know them. They're really specialized in, for instance, the use of Docker containers for cloud-based processing. You have EUDC, which is also an openEO partner. Synergize is here, these systems. So a lot of European partners, which you often see coming back in a lot of European projects. But if you take a look, for instance, here on the openEO platform, we can get an idea of the different type of services. For instance, here there are some training services offered, training courses and so forth. And in a similar way, if you go to the Apex website, in a similar way, you can also request then a specific instantiation service, a specific propagation service for your project. Your request ends up with ESA, and then I think a couple of people at ESA will decide indeed if they'll grant you this this resource, yes or no. And there, of course, to avoid conflict of interest, we don't actively request the sponsorship ourselves. But what we can do, of course, is guide you to the right resources and provide some information so we can have a first call to get a sense of what you want. And then we can point you towards what you should request where and maybe what you can mention there to increase your success rate. But that's, I think, as far as we go to avoid, to make sure that we work in a correct way and avoid a conflict of interest.
Okay, thanks. And one last question from my side. Yesterday you mentioned there was a question related to the difference between openEO and Google Earth Engine, saying that they are like kind of the same. But I have never worked with Microsoft Planetary Computing. Can you just say a word or two about it and how different they are from each other and similar?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I myself am also not a Microsoft Planetary Computer expert. I think for us, the main, well, we typically use openEO, but we realized that in geospatial data analysis, the real strength of all these cloud-based platforms is simply the data. Usually, you go to the platform for data processing where the data actually is. And that's why in CDSC, you have all the European data sets where they're gathering them and they're building their offering and you're hoping to attract people in that way. But of course, there's a big lag because you often also want to use Landsat data, for instance, in combination with central data to improve your temporal resolution. And that's why we, from openEO, which is backend agnostic, have also these examples on can we combine Copernicus data with Microsoft Planetary Computer data, and this way pull together or closer together this American and European satellite-based infrastructure. But yeah, I think the main difference here is also that MPC was a commercial partner, and then you're at risk that if the CEO realizes, okay, maybe it's too soon for a commercial offering on geospatial data analysis, that they pull the plug, and then you lose all your valuable work there. While here, in this collaboration with ESA, you're ensured that they're actually interested in the science itself, and that they'll maintain it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you again for today and yesterday's lecture. That's all for me.
Okay. Then I wish all of you a nice afternoon, and then I'll hope to see some familiar faces at the end of March when we meet here again in Belgium.
Yes, I think then we can end the session. Thanks, Hans. It was, thanks for your time and conveying the message about openEO to the rest of the Sonata consortium. I hope it was, that you guys are happy with the way we conducted the sessions. It's obviously openEO. To see that for the first time, to get acquainted, is a bit much. So I do understand that there were some concerns yesterday. We are going to, I was just compiling actually all the links and the slides shows the presentations that we shared, because I really want to make sure that you have everything. So I'm going to compile it. Also, Hans will revise it. Eline will look at it, Marcel. And if you're still missing something, then you should send an email, because then it might be out of my brain. Anyway, I think that there were still some polls. If you would still stay in the meeting for 1 second, and that was just going to be at the end. Okay. So if you would go to the chat now, I think you can just add a word on how your mood is after seeing all these habitat mapping principles that I hope that you maybe also followed the first session that I gave. And then if some people still are going to answer. So this is about the first presentation of today about the habitat mapping principles. If you could describe in a word or two. Don't you guys see the poll in the chat?
Yeah, we see.
Okay. Yes, I see it now. Okay, that's nice. Opportunity, that's a nice word. Indeed, I see also a lot of opportunities for field experts and ecologists and botanists to come together with remote sensing researchers and so on. Then, okay. Now, the next one is going to be a bit more about the openEO workshop, the last 2 days, so today and yesterday. How do you feel about that? Are you interested? Do you want to learn more? Okay. Yeah, it was definitely a learning experience. Okay. So, and then I think I still have just one, and this is about if the workshop energized you a bit, and also provided you with some starting points to maybe use openEO in your work, or see places for where you can adapt maybe your work to working in openEO and using these predefined pipelines and so on. Can you see the poll? I hope that's... Some people might answer.
We cannot click. It's not working.
Okay. So it's not working. Okay, then yes, this polls, I don't think we're going to use that again in the next session. But it's always nicer to have a face-to-face workshop too. But okay, I hope...
responses in the poll.
Sorry?
There are some responses in the poll.
Yeah, I can see that there are some. Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Yes, I think it takes some time to explore it a bit more. And it definitely shows, I think, some opportunity. Like said before, it has a lot of opportunity. We just have to learn a little bit to find our way with it. So I would really want to thank you guys for participating, because it was nicely interactive. I thought it was really nice also this morning to have questions coming in, and that Marcel was here to really provide you with some technical input, and also with Hans's tutorial and his hands-on workshop. So thanks a lot for participating. So this was our workshop. I think, Tiana, maybe you want to finish up with the quick word?
Yeah, I just want to thank you all, and let's discuss how to organize this workflow, as I said to Hans, and thank you, Lori, for the effort. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm out of my regular mindset. This process.
That's fine. I hope you get better soon. And okay, so next for this, I'm going to send out, or Eileen might send out, a compilation of the slideshows and so on. And then we will get ready for the visit of BIOS to VITO at the end of March.
Yeah, thank you for that, and I'm like looking forward to get the answer for Eileen. So just like to put, because as I said, I just realized what we need, and for me, it was good to structure this workflow that we have from BIOS, and I find this really valuable. Yeah, I hope everyone will just dive more into this, like at least at some parts of this structure.